Hi, this is a pretty quick episode of coming to a topic, assuming that I have time for at least 10 or so minutes to make a script. To summarize the title, I played 5 placement matches, one on stream and the other third off stream, with the strategies that are borked on the first 5 I played due to the calculation system. Since the 4 flexible builds are as well as with my knowledge from Anarchy, it does feel like a different story since, of course, X Battles is a skill level above where I was, especially the case where you have Takoroka division. Regardless of X power, but hopefully my brain had to adjust different skill level in between Anarchy and X battles. Anyway, without further talking to the X battles, I'll share some of my thoughts that aren't honest with most people. In Anarchy, the only reason that people play it is the series, and the only reason they play Anarchy with friends is open. When I first gave an Anarchy battle a go, I didn't even care about S plus since ranking up is easy if you just get a right weapon for the right map and the mode combo, as well as some of the gear abilities to optimize it, and then a right teammate that can take care of it. Before I unlock X battle to rank S or even below S, the only way I can practice is to play Anarchy Open, as everyone suggested. The only downside is that if you're playing by yourself, and the fact that it's a mode meant for friends or teams against randoms, is not that really helpful, especially if you've matched with the same teammates against the different enemy team. So logically, I will practice via playing this series, regardless of how many minus or how many 5 wins in a row. Of course, it feels good to learn something great while I was playing Open. I think it's the main reason for why people play Anarchy Open. Aside from the first start, I want to give a little bit of review on all 4 modes before and after making flexible weapons builds. Mainly because 52 Gal gave me no confidence as much as Splash-O-Matic users persuaded me. To be fair, with the 4-star 52 Gal badge, I'm not even innocent with 81 wins on this weapon as of writing the script. Because people tend to hate 52 Gal for reasons they cannot counter. Maybe if you guys think and try to back off against 52 Gal user unless they're distracted. This is best done with mid to long range weapons. Anyway, let's start with splat zones. It's a mode about King of the Hill. Well, yeah, depending on the map, it can be either one big zone or 2 split zones. It's basically like a turf war, but on the middle specific spot that can be painted in order to win instead of holding it until it moves like Halo or something. Well, you can start off with a hero mode. Um, this mode is where certain weapons with Booyah Bomb, such as Aerospray RG and Force Splash Shot Pro, or maybe certain weapons with Ink Vac like Jet Squelcher and Splash Charger or Splash Scope, or probably an Ink Storm. I mean, I main 52 Gal and at some degree point Splash-O-Matic. When you're told by individuals or X rank leaderboards that the weapon is too easy and you tend to get distracted, or actually no, it's get targeted more often than by long range weapons, especially if there's a cautious anchor. Killer Whale 5.1 can help to distract anything else, but it all depends if it's important or not. The only issue I had with its Jet Squelcher is due to pacing being different from Anarchy. I had to expose myself when it was needed, that being a mobile anchor is to take care, plus staying put in where in certain maps that punish you for a lack of awareness. This is shown because of Blueprint Depot on X Battle. I only stay put unnecessary, regardless if there's dangers or not. Painting the zone, there would be like one side or another that was willing to sneak out on me for having a lack of awareness. This is best shown on like the last stream I've done, and this is also shown on how I used the Ink Vac on X Battle, which I'm putting in the vanilla Jet Squadron aside and choose the custom kit for just in case, because I had to be a little bit more get more proper consistent option, but I still have mistakes that it should have been known pretty easily, but I'm still too easy to like get get lost in somewhere or wherever that can go from. Alright, on the next is the tower control. That's simply tug of war, but tower and done by questionable decision. Otherwise it's just the same thing. That mode can sign with certain weapons, subs, and specials that, as well as like custom range blaster and S Blast 91. On the other hand, with alternatives, it's gotta be the dually squelches. It can depends on the map that is suitable, with varying degree of success, except for Splash Up, which at least fare with the Trizuka. The same persuasion and KW 5.1 statement can be applied here. Uh, the problem with the dually squelches is that despite being a 4-shot weapon with the range of the Splash Up Pro, you're still not prone not to rush in, just like the Jet Squelcher, and playing careful to not get ambushed by the roller, or brush at least. Sometimes you're not meant to stick with your teammates, as this is meant to evade and distract, or otherwise feed them. The different problem can be applied with the Splash Shot as well. Unless you're backed by Anchor with a Charger or Splatling, or a Explosion or Jet Squelcher, wherever you can like. But it's really appreciated if it's these four of above. Anyway, another road up is the Rainmaker. To simply put, is protect the holder or risk being the holder. That's all I can say. Nothing more. Uh, but there's a certain that I often mention is a Splash Up Pro, as well as this time it was the Vanilla Kit. You can pester people off with angle or shooter for a short period of time, and of course the crab tank. You can take alternatives, of course, like Splatana Stamper, or custom Jet Squelcher, or custom Dually Squelches, or even a Range Blaster, which can help, but I do see some people who, or probably most people, using a vanilla Jet Squelcher to defend the Rainmaker holder, and apparently I can understand the exception. Anyway, 52 gals, same as before, but I did use some of the Splash-O-Matic here. Crab Tank did help, but that's all I can say. Probably. The issue, in my opinion, is that being a mid-range counterpart to Splash Shot, competitive-wise, it's sort of viable, but not to extent. You can also make an argument with the Anarchy or X Battle related weapons that did work or didn't work with competitive. Otherwise, you enjoy the low-tier weapon regardless of what an average people think, like the Undercover Brawler. Well, last but not least is the Clown Blitz. It's unique. However, hit or miss for most people depending on what weapon they're using. This is a mode where you can push and defend at any time until the time runs out, or probably a knockout touchdown. One football thrown to the basket, that will call for defense, although in this case you're more likely to prefer flexible weapons, which of course Jet Squelcher. No doubt about that. However, alternatives will more likely be vanilla, like Range Blaster, 52 Gal, Splash Shot, and Splash Shot Pro. However, you're also free to use the secondary kit that I've mentioned. Most of the problems on any flexible weapons are map dependent. Whatever goes on your favor with mid-range weapons or long-range weapons. If you're using a long-range weapon that forces you to be passive in a short-range aggressive map, it's basically being exposed 24/7. You should always watch your surroundings all the time. Or try not to get drama at least once without moving one step further ahead. Now I know what you're thinking from watching the gameplay, that was the loss happens more often than win. The answer is simple. My skill level was below the average. Even if the X power was somewhere at 1000 with the average of 18,000 probably, I get that the 5 loss no win during the calculation games was extremely disappointing. But just at least give it a try and see if you reach your skill limit. Probably. You might think that the Tenta Tech division is easy, but not always. The Tenta Tech division, unlike Takoroka, due to Western dishonesty on Splatoon compared to Japanese via the marketing popularity and its appeal, the Tenta Tech division can be a bit of a mess, replicating the Rocket League lobby from whatever rank or even gold, because this was a troll game to teach you about the teammate stereotypes. Funnily enough, whenever I see the Plaza Plus saying that they complain about the teammates or even on a losing streak, I say that I've experienced worse where on Rocket League before retiring. Yes, anyone can throw a competitive match at any game regardless, besides Rocket League and Splatoon 3. This is a picture that you can understand, which, of course, they're trying, just that not to some degree of success. But of course, it feels great to get on X rank leaderboard at any time and tend to take division. It's for badge reasons, apparently. But if you want to have a Takaroka X Division badge besides Tentatech, try a little bit harder and be at the same level as the Japanese. Yes, the stuff I talk about Tentatech can be the same in Takaroka. It all depends on whether or not it doesn't go well. Division and throwing aside, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses in each mode. However, the weapon can be hindered by the map combo. If the weapon is long range and the map is prone to having choke points or otherwise being risk exposing themselves against aggressive short range slayers, probably at the midpoint without the top backups, or not being careful and aware of your surroundings is a key to losing a game, or just overconfidence. I may say I have X power on Splat Zones higher than the others, mainly because of Jet Squelcher, vanilla specifically, or otherwise, alternatively, but mostly can be taken for the sake of proper consistency, is just 52 gal or splash shot vanilla in X, or probably anything else that can work with the inking the zone. Or painting the zone, probably. Yeah, don't take it out of context. Okay. Most people I see often run with the custom Jet Squelcher. Probably is because Inkvac can have a chance to miss at the zone. That's simply done by a panic or just bad aiming. Sometimes I miss at the zone with Inkvac. I'm not perfect with the pressure. Toxic miss also works too, but it may depend on the map and whenever it's necessary to stay back or not. Oh yeah, that this can also mean that it applies to custom dually squelches, Force Splash Shot Pro, and Tentatech Splash Shot on any other mode. Besides on their own, that can work fine if done right. All in all, I do like the system of X power being separate, unlike Anarchy where rank is all modes. However, in Splatoon 2, it works a little bit different, which simply put, reach that by S plus 10, then you're in rank X. Congrats! The downside is that one mistake or more and your power is below 19,000 is back to S plus 9. Especially if the matchmaking doesn't feel just right from the last time. I don't know the current state of Splatoon 2's rank X or something because I never gave the early Switch game a chance to distract me from waiting Super Mario Odyssey. It was probably like when it's December hits and the chill season 2022 hits. I think the X battle were open in Splatoon 3, and then the Splatoon 2 X rank is no more. So people were moving on to playing a little bit better, and now people can be at S plus 50 since the end of rank X. Also to remember to ask another 27 Switch launch owner that has or hasn't owned the second OLED Switch, and probably the Switch too, but we'll wait because we kind of have to be patient though. Alright, well, I think I've reached the end. It's time for summary. The part I've talked about my Splat Zone's X power is higher than other modes, even in the Rainmakers is by second, is due to the Splash Shot Pro. Judging from this, people might think I'm good with Jet Squelcher and Splash Shot. Obviously I am. It all correlates to the map and mode combo. I can still go with dually Squelches and Splash Shot just fine. Oh yeah, well I was meant to say, hey, Jet Squelcher and Splash Shot Pro, not Jet Squelcher and Splash Shot. I would have been saying Splash Shot more. Anyway, moving on from like these scripts with some mistakes that I can read just fine. So, alright. I'm just gonna repeat it again. I can still go with dually Squelchers and Splash Shot just fine, even when I could have take the custom Jet Squelcher and or Force Splash Shot Pro. While I understand that not all people are willing to be the best at anything by playing only Anarchy mode, thus completing to X battles, it's probably because they're here only for Turf 4 and Splatfest, which from my point of view and the others is just snails. Like trust me, snails. Because we're here to like waste a lot of snails on rolling one perfect ability and then never in the once, and we had to play more salmon run. which from that at this point, unless I want more chunks, I'm just gonna focus on super bonus because I need a little bit of money, nothing else. While I understand that not all people are willing to be the best at anything, oh yeah, I repeated. I'm sorry. Let me just scroll down a little bit more. All right, I repeated another. So anyway, uh, as well as the vote means team win. If you're looking at how many plaza posts, a tip for being on Splatfest win streak, as this statement does not apply to X battle or Anarchy battle. Well, persuasion is a key, at which you cannot judge teams by votes. The only way to judge it is if it's unpopular. That way you won't get mirror match very often. As opposed to having false hopes and thinking the team that is the most voted means automatic winner. Like, it's kind of funny that they kind of complain why they're losing, but you're gonna get the point. Now, for this advice here, coming up, if you're on a Splatfest losing streak, wanting to win at least once, and your ears aren't falling to being deaf or turning blind eye, look at the plaza posts and see what's the most voted team. So that way you should give it a chance. Unfortunately, you need a little bit of skill, so that way you can get some additional points to like win like open pro or tricolor, whatever. I don't care, but I'm gonna give it a point. So here's a side note before the video ends. I want to mention that during writing and sometime playing 3 games of X Rainmaker, there's a buff to Splash Art and Splash Art Pro, for some odd reason according to the community. Yeah, I'm not surprised that my main weapons for 2 modes are buff, and I probably think we get the picture now. That after that it gets a little bit better. After the update to 9.2.0, I say the angle shooter, aside from an average 2 that was buffed, uh, it will the angle shooter being buffed in my experience is pretty neat. So a little bit of, like time period to like expose someone else. All right, so here's a little bit of, like behind the scene part. Originally, I edited this. Sorry. Originally, before I edited the script to change my mind about playing Clan Blitz properly using the range blaster, since some anarchy games during my previous streams, it can be a secondary addition to the Jet Squelcher or Splash Up Pro. I decided to make myself vulnerable. For the sake of dealing with distracted players that would otherwise be too risky, holding up the enemy team to prevent a touchdown as well, so it's up to me if the pressure held on to me. Just keep in mind that I can swap range blaster to splash art at any time. It can be same as the other mode. As long as the map and mode combo done right for certain maps, unless I don't care, it's going to be a temporary switch. No pun intended. After what I've talked about, what can wrap around your head, especially if you've been recent to X battles like me, or at the very least return after multiple regular updates until the regular updates end and probably sent back to C- rank. X rank leaderboards and some tutorial can tell you, but after 81 wins on 52 gal, of course, at the time of writing this, I want to go for something consistent and flexible. If you're struggling with weapons that you used to main or even main that you love to main but feel bored, try branching out. Anyway, that's all for this video, and I'll see you next time when it was finished. Bye! Oh yeah, and also the 52 gal statement is just poorly aged, because I still, no matter how many times I try to reject 52 gal, I always still come back. Like, it just feels a curse. Please help me.